Right now is the time where you can enter an altcoin and receive generational returns over the course of the next 6 to 12 months. We are at the peak fear right now, but it's important to seize this opportunity. What is the ecosystem that will be pumping the first? What are the altcoins you should add into your shopping list? And what is happening with the market overall? Today, we will go through each and every one of these questions and figure out why the generational opportunity to enter altcoins is right now. Let's start with the Bitcoin hourly chart and see what is happening here. We can vividly see that we are going straight up since the start of today. And it's a very interesting situation because we do have the CPI data sharing exactly today. And you have to understand that if certain assets are pumping before these events, there is a high chance that there are certain insiders that actually know what type of results, what type of outcomes will be shared on the marketplace, and they are buying into these assets. And today I will actually show you a couple of them. It's actually the key to understand why the things like this are happening, why the market does not see the event of CPI data sharing as something bearish. And maybe some people know that it's going to actually be quite bullish for the marketplace. We also have to go through the recent dip. Yesterday we were dumping and we had a week down till $57,000. As usually, this is most likely to provide certain liquidations for the market makers and take out the liquidity. Currently, we can see that we have a strong liquidity level around $56,000 for Bitcoin. And we still don't have a lot of shorts opened. However, we have to understand that at $72,000 for Bitcoin, there are billions of dollars in liquidity for the shorts that opened right there. That's why I'm always saying that the next move up should be very, very quick. First, because a bunch of people are in fear currently, and the manipulator should not just give them the option to re-enter the assets at nice prices. They should be capitulating into green candles, followed by the correction right after, so they would sell again and they will trim their backs. And secondly, there is at least $2 billion worth of liquidations at 72K level for BTC. We are way lower currently, but I'm just telling you that this move will be huge and will be very, very fast. This is how they like to perform on this market. And to support my words, one of my normie friends have just capitulated and sold all his alts. To figure out if we're at the bottom fear-wise, just ask yourself how comfortable right now you actually feel to enter additional cash into crypto from your bank account and leverage long one of your best altcoins. How do you actually feel when I'm saying something like this to you? And understand the things that you are getting. You are probably very, very uncomfortable, but this is exactly the time to be entering and to be doing these things. And following our liquidation map, we can also see that not a lot of people are actually staying in leverage overall. Most people, they're not leverage longing or shorting at this stage, which is very, very interesting. Exciting situation that happened yesterday that I also wanted to share is that yesterday we've seen a dump for Bitcoin since around 4 a.m. my time till 4 p.m., right? BTC was just dumping and it showed 3.33% dump over this period of time, over the 12 hours. It's very, very interesting what was happening with Ethereum through this time. Through this time, we actually saw strength in Ethereum. I was carefully watching the chart. I actually saw Bitcoin was dumping, Solana was also going down, Ethereum was surging up. It's a very, very interesting situation. And you can see how the chart of Ethereum looks currently. It's just straight up. It's crazy. As mentioned, there are certain groups of insiders, always, and they are buying before certain events. They are getting great entry points because they know what will actually be happening next. And this is something that Crypto Kappa also noticed himself. Ethereum BTC showing strength here. Good sign. A lot of market participants actually noticed this price action. It seems that we are finally close to the point where Ethereum finally starts to trade. Like it actually has the Ethereum ETF trade start in less than 1 week. We are probably very, very close to this point, right? And the reason, and I was not only watching Ethereum, I was actually also watching Endion Blast. And what I saw is actually very, very bullish for the asset, because I'm telling you for several days already, this is Ethereum beta asset. When Ethereum will be surging up, this thing will be surging up as well, because it's paired to Ethereum. It's based on Ethereum layer 2 chain Blast. And through this move for BTC, when BTC going down 3%, when Ethereum was going up 3%, Endion Blast showed upward movement of 16%. This is so significant. I can not even transfer this confidence to you at this stage. This is exactly what we need to expect from the asset like this, from the asset that actually can call itself Ethereum beta. It makes me so much more confident in this bet and holding this bet as well. It was so crazy to actually see yesterday. It means that the market actually accepting Endion Blast as beta play for Ethereum. And it outperformed yesterday's Ethereum price action by 5x already. Imagine what will be happening moving further. Friends, what is this pattern called? Ethereum just going up. Crazy things actually await us in connection to Ethereum ecosystem and Ethereum itself. And make sure to watch this video till the end. We will talk about the ecosystem that I think will be actually pumping up the first. It already is showing the signs of that. And altcoins, I will share 4 altcoins, just 4 that I think will be doing quite well on this upward movement of the ecosystem that I will talk about. There are different signals to actually understand whether we are at the market top or market bottom. And actually, you should not be neglecting signals like this. Yes, this is funny, but this is true. This is life, not a female inside. 0% probability we have topped. This is the crypto event, and you cannot find any female on crypto event. If you were here at the end of the last cycle, man, there was so much females out there. All these Twitter pages, Twitter female accounts, let me tell you something, most of them are actors. They're just only fans girls, they are just recording stories, they are reading from the script, and there is some guy sitting there and actually writing this crypto content on these Twitter pages and signing deals to actually receive allocations from the projects that they are shilling. This is the only thing that is happening. And some of them, the smart ones, they actually start the YouTube channels to read from the script to make sure that you will actually not figure out that they are actors in the first place. This is something that's happening. And you can only prove that through one-on-one talk in terms of whether or not the person on the other side actually understands what is happening in the market. Feel the ether shared by Vanek, US. This is not something you should neglect as well. This type of like one day before Pepe pumped 10x, the large pump of Pepe started. I was sharing this in my video back in winter. OKX published a meme on its page, on Twitter page, with Pepe, with Dogecoin and SHIB. This is not random. These people have insights. These people know. They pretty much create this market. Something I was doing a video a couple days ago, I had a title, Ansem is wrong, specifically. Since then, we had a bunch of information of crypto Twitter shared by Kobe that a bunch of new influencers are actually sponsored by US government, and they're working on purpose to pretty much steal people money, to rob people, to make sure that transactions of people will end up in the government institutions, to tax everyone, and to not actually be able for people to take money out of crypto as well. I will be sharing this information as well. Probably not in this video because it's a very, very, very funny thing. I pretty much talked about it, and 1 or 2 days after, we had a bunch of information about Ansem, about all these new influencers. Very, very funny. Let's check out this video. I actually agree with the points in this video.
Simply put, I think Ansem's wrong. Take a look at the market right now. Bitcoin is chopping, but ETH and Sol are looking extremely strong against their Bitcoin pairs. The dollar looking weak, and we finally just got news that 70 to 80% of cryptocurrencies are going to be marked as commodities. We're setting up for an absolutely electric end of the summer session. It seems relatively basic. I will say this straightforward. Election cycles happening, Memecoin super cycles happening on Solana. Ethereum is continuing to send with their L2s and gas fees on mainnet being all-time lows. We're wrapping up ETC here, and a ton of bullish news for other new L1s that are built on an EVM tech stack like Barachain and Monad and a lot more. All in all, I think it's setting up for the market to continue to rally through the end of this month, and August and September are going to be, in my opinion, up-only mode. Solana back towards that 160 area, ETH up to 3,500. Bitcoin, hopefully over 60K. Bitcoin holds over 60K. The market looks prime to continue to rally.
This is something I do actually agree with. And he specifically mentioned that yesterday we had the news that US government actually declared, I think the state of Illinois is right, but anyway, that 70 to 80% of cryptocurrencies, they are not commodities. As I was telling you, they are preparing the foundation. They're removing the uncertainty. They're preparing the lane to actually take off. And at the same time, they're inflicting so much fear into the market. How masterful it actually crafted in the first place. We will have our CPI data shared today. And here are some predictions from Crypto Banter team in terms of what will be happening with the market. If we go above, which is bad, if we stay at the level that is predicted by the market currently, and if we go lower as well, which is good and which will probably pump the market. Personally, myself, like it's all just a rigged game. The way they calculate it, it has nothing to do with reality. The main thing is just to manipulate the market with these type of numbers, with these things that they're sharing. It has nothing to do, like official numbers, groceries in the US, they went up at least 30% from the time of COVID. No one is sharing that. They're tracking exactly different numbers. They're changing items in the grocery cart to manipulate the numbers the way they actually want to. This is just all bullshit in terms of the numbers and things like that. But just following all the fundamentals, following all the things, following Ethereum ETF, it seems like numbers would actually be on the positive side to pump the market a little bit, to cause a bit of FOMO in people who would want to actually get into Ethereum through Ethereum ETF, to let them buy in the whole thing. Because as mentioned, the best marketing is number go up. And BlackRock definitely understands it. Here is an interesting scenario on Ethereum and the market that I wanted to share and comment on as well. Here's how I see things playing out. Ethereum rally into the Ethereum ETF launch. Even though we don't know flows yet, it just feels like it's gonna rally. Parallel big move in Ethereum memes, Pepe, Mock, and some memes that we hold as well. I think Solana ecosystem relics but lags that move in Ethereum. I do think that this will be happening as well, and the chart of Solana to Ethereum, it definitely shows that as well. It seems like that it might be lagging a bit, and there is so much fear in Solana ecosystem currently as well. I was sharing this tweet that Solana influencers, they can't even pump Solana meme token to $1 million of liquidity at this stage. It definitely shows peak fear in Solana market caused by Ansem. Why? You have to understand and figure out why. It's very, very interesting. Who is creating the sentiments and who is benefiting from? Feels like this is something that happens over the next 1 to 2 weeks. Next big and more important thing is what the ETF flows are like. Will BlackRock wave it in? Will Grayscale dump, etc.? I'm not gonna pretend I have a handle on that. Only thing I would say is that the market is definitely more skeptical of flows than they were for the BTC ETFs, and as such a weaker outcome is potentially priced in. That's a very, very important thing. Market still definitely prices in weak ETF inflows from Ethereum. There are 0 reasons for Ethereum ETF inflows to actually be weaker. GBTC share that they're holding of Ethereum in comparison to the share that they were holding of Bitcoin is actually smaller. Ethereum is the asset that is almost 3 times smaller than Bitcoin at that stage, which means that same type of capital will be pumping up the chart way more. And as mentioned several times, the best type of marketing is number going up. If your market cap is actually lower, that actually means that the inflows of cash, they will be pumping up the market cap more, which would mean that the number will go up more, which would mean it will be attracting more and more inflows. I think if Ethereum ETF is successful, we do see a big altcoin rally, and I actually think this is where Solana ecosystem catches up. I 100% agree with this. We have to understand we have never seen an altcoin season on this stage in this market yet. what happened is BTC surging up, memes surging up because institutions are sitting in memes as well, and bunch of people start to open up bunch of leverage on altcoins as well. But altcoins, they were just not surging up because they have a bunch of VCs with a bunch of allocations that just dumped at the first possible option. At this point, we are done with German government selling and empty GOX is out there. It's very important. They are removing uncertainty from the marketplace. Why? While we approach FTX cash return, so technicals look cleaner, and if macro stays strong, that gives us much better technicals than we've seen for the last 2 months. Macro right now, macro setup for crypto is crazy right now. We have Trump, previous president and potentially future president of the US, talking on crypto conference at the end of the month, and it moves Bitcoin by 1%. Do you understand like what type of fear we are actually in currently? What is the crazy, like the upside that is being suppressed? This ball underwater currently. This is just so crazy. While we approach FTX cash returned, we will have a bunch of crypto degens getting the cash back from FTX that they will be injecting into the market 100%. So technicals look cleaner, and if macro stays strong, that gives us much better technicals than we've seen for the last 2 months. It's all a setup as well. Who controls FTX returns? The government as well. It's all a setup to pump this thing, to get as much people as they can there, to eventually rob people out of their savings so they can slave away on the jobs in a continued manner and blame them that, man, you just lost everything in crypto. You knew it's risky. You knew it's all your responsibility. It's the skill issue, right? If Ethereum ETF numbers disappoint, or US government starts selling their BTC, etc., this would be the reasons for me that could create a longer period of chop through the rest of the summer. I don't honestly see that because I think that enough fear actually was inflicted already. A lot of people are already speaking about this chop, about us going to 40K, and they're not buying because of it. And they are sharing this opinion and making sure that other people are also not buying because of it. And we have crazy liquidity in shorts at $72,000. These people are in crazy profits as well. Most of them obviously are market makers, but there are still certain market participants that are in a very nice profits from these levels. And if you would inflict this time of chop at the time where stock market is at all-time high, you have to understand that people who were in the stock market, they have a bunch of money. They farmed a bunch of money from stock market. And the chart that I was showing in the previous video as well, the comparison of the performance of the stock market of Nasdaq to Ethereum. Ethereum is at all-time lows at this stage, performance-wise in comparison to Nasdaq, which means that the rotation should be happening. If the prices will actually become even better, 100%, the rotation will be happening. Worst case scenario, if we will be getting a 10% correction in S&P, and that will essentially cause the correction in crypto. However, how does alt season start? Let me ask you. BTC starts to correct. Liquidity starts to flow from BTC into alts. Why the same thing won't happen with Nasdaq starting, with S&P starting to correct, and liquidity from S&P coming into crypto? There's the same thing, the same type of thought process, the same type of risk averse in terms of these two assets as well. I personally think that Trump and crypto stuff is massive, and it's quite mental that he's speaking at the Bitcoin conference at the end of this month. It's quite mental that the market is not reacting in a huge pump because of it. That means that they've done their job so well, they inflicted so much fear, their influence that they bought, they've done such a great job on actually doing that. It's so crazy. I expect news flow around Trump and crypto to escalate into elections, as well as speculation on Gensler departing. Election is 3 months away. This is such a short period of time, and market is such well manipulated. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy how well they're doing. These things for me would be major structural positives that would far outweigh any technical sell pressure. Sell pressure. What sell pressure you're talking about? When the candidate, the president of the US, would be talking about crypto, when uncertainty from the market like empty GOX and German government removed, when people will be receiving FTX back, the funds, right? When we will have Ethereum ETF opened and BTC ETF opened, allowing for these inflows. When we are coming out of peak fear, out of oversold situation on many altcoins. You know why this oversold situation actually needed in the first place? Because the best marketing is number go up. And number goes up the most when it's suppressed, when it's low initially. When you can say, oh man, if you had just put 20K 3 weeks ago, you would have 80K currently. And you could put it into like large altcoin, like not some like risky stuff, a proper product. This is so crazy. All in, I'm reasonably bullish next 3 weeks as I think we are over the hump on a lot of selling. I agree with that 100%. And I'm very bullish the next few months into elections. I agree with that 100%. Yes, a lot of these are unknown quantities, but I don't believe they are priced in. Just like how BlackRock's ETF application wasn't priced in a year ago. I remain bullish as well. Most altcoins have bottomed or are very close. Buyers are going to be so happy they bought the dip. 6 to 12 months from now will be fireworks. I agree with Kyle here. Ansem is getting paid by BlackRock to shake you out of position. BlackRock also paid Sahil to bring celebrities because you think their presence is a top signal. Newsy Johnson. Well, it's just thought process, but it's interesting that I, on this channel, told you 2 days ago about this conspiracy theory about Ansem. Called me crazy, called me insane, called me having zero facts, and 1 day after that, there was a bunch of information on Twitter. Some certain letters that were shared from some lawyers about this conspiracy. I did not know anything. I just came to a conclusion to this through the way of how confident the guy was telling everyone that we are going lower, that Solana is going lower, and he's still saying that. This is just pure sentiment creation from the manipulator. And all his work on pumping Solana, there are some people saying that he's paid by Solana Foundation initially as well, with all these meme coins as well, because meme coins on Solana, they're just the perfect vehicle of taking money away. Because in order to trade them like perfectly, to know how to do this, you have to have certain skill set. And until you would essentially get it, you will be losing money. 100%. You will be losing money. Nothing else will be happening. This is just this so well-constructed vehicle. And I think what we are seeing currently is just the preparation. The more we are going into like retail part of this cycle, the larger this vehicle, the better this vehicle will essentially work. And all these people who would be sharing like, I just make 7 figures, I only had 1 soul in February, at what cost? How many people actually had to lose money for this one guy in order to make money? This is just next level of casino. Next level. Casino is blocked in a lot of US countries, and this is just the best version of it. Interestingly is that you can always say that, man, it's just a skill issue. You have no one to blame except yourself. Whilst influencers are getting early supplies into the coins, they shield them, they have zero risks because they pretty much did not pay for it in the first place. They would just send the allocation and they're just chilling, using their audience as exit liquidity. It is just so crazy to understand what will be happening. It's the house. The house is the one that will be winning. Trump literally speaking at a freaking Bitcoin conference in an election year with rate cuts incoming, and you're waiting for 40K. Ha 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 ha. Looks like 40K might come soon after CPI. There is no demand to even get us above 60K. Such a bullish comment. Such a bullish comment to understand the sentiment, to understand fear. Some things about Blast. Blast looking for a breakout to 18 cents or a bounce of support and 14.5, which is around $260 million market cap, to form a third higher low. This is a very interesting situation for Blast. The reason I'm talking about Blast is because it will actually be connected with the 4 altcoins that I will be sharing in this video as well. It was necessary that some people dumped bottoms hard. It's called a washout. These exact people won't be there on the highs to put additional selling pressure, which leads to new all-time highs on some of coins soon enough. Max pain is when it starts to rally without a good exposure. I'm experiencing that on some coins myself. I sold some Solana coins that I had, that I was buying through this dip, that are doing very well currently. All I had to do was just to hold. I was hurt. Market was going down, the coins were going down as well. I thought that I'm just losing money, and I would have way more money if I didn't sell, alright? So, what is the ecosystem that will be pumping the first? You probably know the answer already because I was talking about it several times, and it's quite obvious at this stage. And this market, we also have to not to overcomplicate things. And this is the scene that I was doing a lot of. I'm constantly overcomplicating things, which results in me underperforming in certain things. So sometimes it leads to huge overperformance, but it's quite hard. It's quite hard to hold. It's quite hard to be right with the third order of consequences. Usually, you just pick second order of consequences. People in crypto, they're not professional investors. They're not like very, very smart. Some of them, right? Because essentially, currently, people who are in crypto probably smart, high IQ, right? But overall, once we would essentially have more and more people, this place definitely allows for uncredited investors to actually participate as investors. Therefore, their investing skill, they're definitely lower in comparison to proper investors in the Web2 world, right? So what is this ecosystem? I do think this is Ethereum ecosystem. This is the simplest thing that you can only think of at this stage. We will have Ethereum ETF. We will have crazy inflows in Ethereum ETF. We'll have two things happening. People who are holding Ethereum currently, they will be taking profits on some of the Ethereum backs and repositioning into lower caps Ethereum beta plays to make sure to multiply their outperformance. Because they were holding Ethereum for so much time, they are finally starting to receive some profits. They would want to play the game, right? And people who did not hold Ethereum, they were looking to former in certain Ethereum beta plays, and they would be looking to outperform Ethereum as well. Because buying into Ethereum green candles, that's probably not the best thing to do, right? You will not outperform. You will also probably not become exit liquidity as well, and if you have a long-term approach and tens of millions of dollars and more, that's a nice thing to do as well. But there are some things you might be doing to actually outperform, and default market participants, Solana boys, they would be looking into something to outperform Ethereum pump as well. Not understanding that after a short time of underperformance of Solana, it will start to surge back up 100%. First things first, a very default Ethereum betas that would be quite interesting to get into for default market participants are definitely Ethereum layer 2s. Advantage points that we have with these type of projects currently is that we have a lot of FUD around them because of these low float and high FDV meta, which means that there are just a bunch of VCs receiving tokens and constantly dumping them, right? And secondly, that these things, they actually might be oversold at this stage because VCs, they are default people, they're exactly people like us, and there is a high chance that they were actually selling their tokens on this dump as well. We see 50% price decrease on something like Starknet on a monthly time frame, something that actually received $435 million worth of investment out of VCs. They definitely plan to pump this thing moving further, like 100%. It also has quite low circulation supply at this stage, which definitely helps with the whole situation in terms of just pumping this thing up and actually being able to receive ROI from this product. Starknet might be your layer 2 of choice. I just like the fact that the market cap is low. I like the fact that FDV is high, so it definitely scares some people out. I like the fact that it dumped quite nicely recently. I like the fact that they've raised a bunch of money, and that's why they would essentially be looking to manipulate on this one as well. And probably they've done all the necessary preparations that they wanted to do already. Some other things that you might be looking into are Zeki Sync and Layer 0. These are new projects, and probably they were planning to launch them exactly before the pump of the market. So I do think that they have all the necessary preparations done in place already, such as having a large percentage of the supply of this token in their hands to be able to pump this thing as well. Other Ethereum layer 2 of choice is obviously Blast. It has $300 million market cap. The fair valuation of Blast as a SaaS product based on the revenue and profits this year thus far is around the same levels as well, which means that crypto valuation is equal to fair valuation if it would be a Web2 product, and it is generating revenue and profits. The reason I'm sharing that is because I'm trying to communicate that this is very undervalued at this stage. I think this is the layer 2 with the lowest market cap, and they don't have this terrible situation with the fully diluted market cap as well. They have it a bit better because people who would be receiving the tokens are the ones that essentially delivered a lot of value into the ecosystem. Therefore, there is a high chance that they won't be just dumping the tokens right away. You know my situation with Blast. I am heavily invested in Endion Blast, and I see this as a leverage bet on this ecosystem. This is Pepe narrative, crazy things are happening, team, market makers, everything that is being shared on the marketplace. This is a very, very safe meme coin bet. Even if you don't want to participate in meme coins, this is just such a nice thing from my point of view. And even with current entry, I think that downside like right now is very, very limited. The main reason for that is because through largest dumps since FTX, where a bunch of meme coins, they lost 40%, 50%, 60%. We were just holding $20 million floor, which means a lot about community, about current holders, about whales of the project as well. This is just the pick that I like a lot myself. So if you want to be conservative, you can be buying into Ethereum layer 2s. If you want to essentially participate in some memes, you can be buying into Endion Blast. These are first two picks as well. I shared a list of Ethereum layer 2s already. Third thing is Render. It's very, very conservative at this stage. It has $2.5 billion market cap. That's probably like largest token between the all that I was sharing. However, the FDV is actually lower than the fully diluted valuation of Starknet, for example, which might tell us from certain point of view that there might be less manipulator interested in pumping this asset, because most likely they essentially took a bunch of profits already. So if you would see this part on the chart, this is essentially liquidity creation zone where they were creating a bunch of, where they were essentially taking a bunch of profits as well. Why Render? Because it's stable AI peak, and we have Nvidia surging up currently. AI is still this part, but this peak I honestly like the least because of the upside. I just don't see it has like a very, very large upside. However, if you're a very, very conservative crypto investor, you want to have some exposure, it will still most likely outperform Ethereum. That's why I just have it in the list. But personally, reward is not enough for me. I'm definitely fine with taking any risks in this market. Reward is not there for me. Last, project number 4. It had a very, very interesting price action. This is one of the main reasons I actually decided to share it as well. Heroes of Mavia, which is a gaming project kind of like Clash of Clans mobile application clone. Currently at $66 million market cap, and just recently it was at $1. And just recently it also tapped $2. So we pretty much had a 2x return on the course of the last, how much? Week, right? Do you know a lot of memes that actually did that? I don't know many. And the main reason for that, the main reason for the fact that something like this is happening is because gaming coins, they're essentially being treated similarly to meme coins. Like, not a lot of people, they actually believe in utility of gaming projects, and gaming was not doing very, very well for quite some time. And with Heroes of Mavia, there were also a bunch of unlocks that investors were receiving, and they were holding them in anticipation and expectation to actually sell them at way higher prices, right? They were not able to do that. They saw the dump and they just capitulated. And that's why we had this huge sell-off to $1. I wanted to loan it at $1.4. Unfortunately, I did not. It would be a very, very, very nice loan. Spot entry point currently is very, very good for this project. It's even lower than at the times when it is actually went out on the marketplace. These are just crazy good prices for this product. It actually has some chances to receive this adoption. And the reason I'm showing this as Ethereum ecosystem play is because you can see it's based on Ethereum. So it's also this Ethereum ecosystem beta, similar to Big Time essentially, but this just has a lower market cap. And I do believe that inflation with the amount of tokens and FDV situation with Heroes of Mavia is essentially better than Big Time. And it's kind of like a newer project. It did not see the bull cycle yet. Big Time, it's something that's essentially already saw this wave 1, right? This is it. This is my current overview of the market, current overview of interesting picks and the situation that's happening right there. Let me know in the comments, do you actually agree with my opinion? Or do you think that Ansem is right? Do you think that people who are preaching for $40,000 BTC are actually right? With such the macro overview and such a fear on the marketplace happening currently. Thank you very much for watching this video. I will be seeing you tomorrow. Bye bye.